Vision Quest, and this film just has really stood the test of time. And what really impressed me looking at this was all the actual wrestling segments, because your collar ties are on point. You looked great doing those. How was the training aspect to make sure it did look believable? Because those are some phenomenal scenes still.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I went out for high school wrestling when I was in high school, and I said, "You got to be crazy to do this sport. This is the like, it's the hardest thing I ever participated in." And then when I got the role in the film, I realized I was going to have to, get very physical and learn how to do that wrestling. So Harold Becker sent me to Spokane, Washington, about 2 months before we began filming, and we did 3-a-days. We do conditioning, wrestling, and weightlifting, three times, over the course of day, every day for 2 months. And I learned how to wrestle. All the kids that were in the movie were state champions. Even Michael Schofling, who's from Pittsburgh, he was he traveled to Europe with some American team, not an Olympic team, but Michael Schofling was a real proper wrestler. He played Cooch.
Yeah, all that hard work definitely paid off. And Loudon's such an interesting character because the hormones are just firing off at unprecedented levels. But he knows his body so well, so he can like recognize when he's acting irrationally, even if he can't stop it.
Yeah.
How is it kind of like leaning into that youthful exuberance, the frustration, and also the dedication, because he's being pulled in like 500 different directions.
Yeah, I mean, the wonderful thing here was that the book Vision Quest was written by Terry Davis, and that provided me with a lot of insights and understanding of what was going on emotionally inside of him. And then the writer of the screenplay, Daryl Ponison, who wrote a terrific uh, Jack Nicholson, Randy Quaid, they're on shore leave. I can't think what the last detail. A terrific writer. He asked me if I'd ever read Holden Caulfield, The Catcher in the Rye. And I said, no, I haven't. He said, you have to read Catcher in the Rye. That's who Louden Swain is. He's Holden Caulfield. So that was a good tool to have as well, to sort of, the emotional life of this really interesting character, Louden Swain.
And this film also has a remarkable soundtrack. Obviously, Madonna's in it, but Lunatic Fringe is a great song in it. And UFC
Journey.
champion Randy Couture, he would always come out to Lunatic Fringe because he loved that movie. And
Yeah.
he also named his gym Team Quest. What did the fact that he also bought the log that shoot carries recently, which was a
Did
really
he?
fun piece of memorabilia. Yeah. Well, what did it mean that like the wrestling community really embraced the movie so much?
Yeah, and Dana White says he built his whole wrestling UFC empire based on the sort of work ethic of Louden Swain. It's wonderful, when you make a movie, you feel a sense of responsibility of how it can impact people's lives negatively or positively. And a lot of people say, "Oh, we should remake Vision Quest," and the fact of the matter is, you can't remake it. That there's so many things that were inappropriate for today's audience that were done in that film. Loudon would get canceled in today's world. But that's the mistakes that he makes, the things that he does or says that are inappropriate in life are learning tools. That they're experiences that we all do and say things that are inappropriate in some point of our life. And so when we get to see a movie like Vision Quest, and get the opportunity to learn through a character in a movie, we've done a service to the community, to help them to understand what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, and how to speak to a woman, how not to speak to a woman.
And there's some hilarious lines in this just because he is all revved up and being inappropriate. When you mention that you're dying with a heart on, like just pure laughter. That's a great line.
Yeah, or he wants to be a gynecologist in outer space. I mean, like, who says something like that?
Yeah, I did want to ask you that. It's been 40 years. Do you think Loudon ever achieved his dream of becoming a Q's doctor in space?
He wrote a follow-up book, Terry Davis, and it was when it was on the space shuttle that went up and exploded. So Louden Swain was stardust. You know, he didn't make it back. Um, that's sad. I did a movie called Hard Miles this last year about a guy who takes troubled youth on a bike ride from Denver, Colorado to the Grand Canyon. And when we were making the film, we felt everybody involved that it was sort of this could be Louden Swain growing up and trying to help kids to go on their own personal vision quest and learn, because when you do something difficult and arduous and have to work together, even though you're, as a bicyclist, an individual on a bike, you're still part of a peloton, you know, a group of bicyclists trying to accomplish a goal. You have to draft off one another and help one another.